welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's basically going to be me looking at the Popsugar Reading prompts for 2021 for the first time, and basically just reacting to them and giving some initial thoughts. So if you don't know what the Popsugar Reading Challenge is, it is an annual reading challenge. So it goes on for the entire year, and there are 40 reading prompts if you do the regular version, and then there are 10 more advanced prompts if you choose to do those, so 50 altogether if you do the whole thing. And if you haven't already realized, I love reading challenges, and I've been doing this particular challenge for several years now. For the first few years I did it pretty low-key and only fulfilled a couple of prompts here and there. But for the last few years I've been doing it a little more seriously, I guess. And for the past 2 years I've completed all 50 prompts, and obviously I hope to do that in 2021 as well. So this challenge typically have a good mix of like prompts that are quite easy and prompts that are a little more challenging. I always try to fulfill the prompts as best as I can, but sometimes I may stretch some of the prompts a little bit. I feel like one of the purposes of this reading challenge is to encourage people to maybe go a little bit out of their comfort zones in terms of reading and maybe read a little bit more diversely. And I like that, but I always try to read books that are either already on my TBR or that I'm actually interested in reading. Like, I won't pick up a book that I have no interest in only to fulfill a reading prompt. So for that reason, sometimes I do stretch certain prompts a little bit, but I feel like most of the time the books that I read are like well within that prompt. So in this video I basically filmed myself as I looked up the reading prompts as they were announced a few days ago. And I don't know if this is interesting for anyone other than myself, but I figured since I have a booktube channel now, I mean the only point is to actually be able to geek out about books, right? So why not? So I guess without further ado, let me just insert the footage that I filmed a couple of days ago when I looked at the Popsugar Reading prompts for the first time. So welcome to my kitchen. I have my computer here in front of me. You can't see it. So let me just see if I can start screen recording, which is something I've never done before. And then let's just look at the challenges together. Is it weird that I kind of feel like Christmas? I mean, this is fun. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited about this. So let's start the screen recording. And there we go. I've already entered the Popsugar page, but I've not looked at the prompts yet. So this is going to be a surprise. So let's just scroll down and see what the prompts are. Okay, we're starting with a book that's published in 2021, which should be pretty easy, at least later on in the year. An Afro-futuristic book. Okay, I'm not sure I know what that is. I will probably have to Google that, but it sounds interesting, so I'm excited about that. A book that has a heart, diamond, club, or spade on the cover. Okay, I feel like a heart would be the easiest one, but yeah, that should be fun. Just try and find a book like that. A book by an author who shares your zodiac sign. Huh. That's a fun one. I mean, I have no idea. I will have to Google authors for that one, but yeah, I don't think that should be too difficult. Oh, okay. Then we have dark academia, which I feel like everybody is talking about dark academia these days. And like, honestly, the books that I've read that I feel like are dark academia, I haven't liked. So I'm not sure that's my kind of genre, but at the same time I feel like there are different types of books that could be dark academia. So I guess I'll just have to try and find one that I'm actually interested in. But so I guess we'll just have to see what I can find for that prompt. And then we have a book with a gem, mineral, or rock in the title. Okay. I'm not sure if that one's a difficult one or not, because I can't, on top of it, I can't think of anything. But I mean, yeah, I can probably Google some stuff and hopefully I can find one that I want to read. A book where the main character works at your current or dream job. Huh. Okay. Like my current job is just like a regular office job, basically. Which, I mean, it should be possible to find probably. And dream job, I mean, if I like go, like dream job, that could be plenty of things if you like have no limits. I mean, so I mean, there are probably several things that I could say is my dream job. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not like, that could be possible. Okay, let's scroll a little bit further down here. Then we have a book that's won the Women's Prize for Fiction. Okay, I don't really know that prize, so I'll have to Google which authors have won that prize, but it should be possible, I guess. A book with a family tree. Are we talking like a family tree, like in the front or back of the book, or like an actual drawing of a family tree? I'm guessing so, maybe. I mean, okay, that could be kind of difficult, I feel like, but I mean, I always use the Goodreads group for the Popsugar Reading challenge to like help me out with this prompt. Usually some people have some tips there, so I'll probably look into that, but could be kind of hard. Sorry about these commercials, by the way. It's just, I mean, yeah, just ignore them. A bestseller from the 1990s. Okay, I mean, yeah, should be possible, I guess. A book about forgetting. Ooh, that's interesting. Like, are we talking about people maybe who are suffering with some kind of memory loss? Or maybe, I feel like there are maybe some thrillers where, like, there's someone who can't remember what's happening, and throughout the book maybe we find out what happened or something like that. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I can't really think of any books like from the top of my head, but yeah. A book you have seen on someone's bookshelf, in real life, on a Zoom call, in a TV show, etc. I mean, I feel like this prompt, like if you're a booktube, you have seen a lot of people with bookshelves in their background. So I feel like you could basically read pretty much anything for this. I mean, there's a lot of books that I've seen in people's background on booktube, so this one should not be too hard. Okay, and then we have a locked room mystery. Okay, I mean, I like those, so that's not too bad. A book set in a restaurant. Huh. I mean, I hope it doesn't have to be all set in a restaurant, that maybe the restaurant could be like an important place in the book or something. Or if not, this could be difficult. But yeah, it could be kind of challenging, I guess. A book with a black and white cover. Okay, again, I'm a little like, do it have to be all black or white, or mostly black or white? I guess that's up to interpretation. So if you being very strict about it, maybe it could be kind of hard. I'm pretty sure I have one that fits. I'm not sure I want to read that one, because I think my edition of Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. I think that one has a all black and white cover, but that's a big one. So I mean, it should be possible. I could find one, I'm sure. A book by an indigenous author. Like, honestly, I kind of saw that prompt coming, because I feel like that's been something that people maybe are a little bit more aware of these days, and same for me. So I'm happy with that prompt. I like it. A book that has the same title as a song. Okay, that could be kind of hard, I guess. I mean, if you choose like a really short title, like there's probably like on the top of my head, Poker Face. Maybe there's a book also named Poker Face. I don't know. But this one could be kind of difficult to find
like I always try to find books that are actually on my TBR, and if not on my like real TBR, then at least a book that I'm interested in that I can get from the library or listen to as an audiobook. And this one I feel like maybe I have to like stretch that a little bit. But I mean, I'm eager to and excited to sort of start Googling and look into that because it's an interesting prompt. I'm just not sure if I can find a book like, I don't think there's necessarily plenty of options maybe. A book about a subject you are passionate about. Okay, this sounds maybe like some kind of non-fiction. I mean, it doesn't have to be, I guess. It could be maybe a fiction book with a character that are involved in something maybe that I'm passionate about. I mean, I'm passionate about books. So if there's a book that is about like a bookstore or a librarian or anything that has to do with books really, I mean, I guess that would work. A book that discusses body positivity. Okay, again, here I feel like it has to be maybe getting some tips from someone because that's sort of the challenge with some of these prompts that before you start reading a book, or at least before I start reading a book, I don't know too much about what it's about. So I wouldn't know which books does discuss body positivity, but I like the prompt though. So it should be possible, I guess, as long as somebody can recommend something to find a book. So yeah. And then we have a book found on a Black Lives Matter reading list. Okay, I like that. Shouldn't be too hard, I feel like. So yes, I'm liking that one. A genre hybrid. What is that? I don't know what that is. Is that like a mash of several genres, like maybe a historical fiction that is also sci-fi, for instance? I would probably like to Google that because I don't really know what that is. But if it's like that, if it's a combination of several genres, then yes, I'm all for that. A book set mostly or entirely outdoors. Ooh, that could be another one that is kind of difficult just because like I won't know what the book is about before I start reading it. I mean, I guess if you read like a non-fiction book about someone who is like exploring nature or mountains or the sea or something, that would probably work. But yeah, that one will probably require some research as well. A book with something broken on the cover. Okay, that's an interesting one. It's always kind of fun with those. You have to like go hunting on your TBR and see what your covers look like, or on Goodreads or something. But yeah, that's a fun one. A book by a Muslim British author. Okay, I mean, again, we'll probably have to do research because I don't always know where authors are from. But I like the prompt definitely. A book that was published anonymously. Okay, but is that like when someone is using a pen name so you don't really know who the real person behind the name is? I feel like that could work because I have some stories or some books that were published by someone using a pen name, and at least at the time they were published, no one knew who the real person was. So I feel like that could work for a prompt like that. A book with an oxymoron in the title. Okay, here is when it's a problem that English is not my first language because I don't know what oxymoron is. So I would have to Google and find out what that actually is. So at the moment I have no idea what that prompt means, but yeah, I'll figure it out. A book about do-overs or fresh starts. Okay, again, it's like, I don't always know what books are about, but I feel like maybe like romance could work for that. I feel like second chance romance, for instance, like they do get a fresh start in those, so maybe. A magical realism book. Okay, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard. I enjoy those books, so that should be kind of easy. A book set in multiple countries. Okay, that one shouldn't be too difficult either, I feel like. I mean, I feel like there's some options for that one. So, yes. A book set somewhere you'd like to visit in 2021. Okay, that one again. I mean, I would love to visit the entire world if I could. So basically, and places in Norway as well, because we don't actually go anywhere these days. So I feel like a book set anywhere other than my town or city where I live could work for that. So a book by a blogger, vlogger, YouTube video creator, or other online personality. Okay, like I've got to admit, I'm not usually interested in those kind of book. There's just very few people that I like watch or follow online that I'm like interested in reading a book about or a book by, I guess. But maybe if I start thinking about it and look into it, there are some people that I'm interested in. But this one could become challenging for me. A book whose title starts with Q, X, or C. Okay. Ooh. This could be kind of challenging because, like, at the top of my head, I can't think of any book that starts with those letters. I'm sure they exist, but yeah, some googling are needed here. A book featuring 3 generations: grandparent, parent, and child. Okay, I mean, that sounds like it could maybe be some like family saga, family-based story, and I usually like those, so not mad about that. A book about a social justice issue. Okay, I feel like there are plenty of options here as well, both for non-fiction and fiction. So yeah, shouldn't be too difficult, I guess. A book in a different format than what you normally read. Audiobooks, ebooks, graphic novels. Ooh. I mean, I usually read all of those. I mean, the format that I read the least are probably, of those mentioned here, are probably ebooks or graphic novels. I read those as well, but maybe a graphic novel would work for this, because I don't read a lot of graphic novels, even though I always, or usually enjoy them when I do read them. So yeah, that should be okay. A book that has fewer than 1,000 reviews on Amazon or Goodreads. Okay, this I feel like shouldn't be too difficult either, because I think quite a few of the books that I have on my Kindle, which are usually romance, I think quite a few of those have not too many ratings. So I feel like this one shouldn't be too difficult, I hope. A book you think your best friend would like. Ooh, this could be kind of difficult, because it's always kind of difficult for me to imagine what other people might like, because I mean, at least for myself, like, I have a certain taste, but it doesn't always, like, just because I always like those types of books, I like all books in that sort of group. So but I mean, yeah, I could probably find something for that. A book about art or an artist. Okay, I mean, art, are we looking at sort of like the broader picture, where art can be like musicians, and where books can be like, where artists can be like musicians as well, for instance? Because I'm gonna admit that I'm not too interested in like traditional art, but if you include like music, then yes, definitely, and I can find something for that. So, and then we have a book everyone seems to have read but you. Okay, this one should be very easy, because I feel like I'm always behind. Like, I feel like maybe a year or two after all of BookTube have talked about a book, then I read it. So, I mean, I feel like I have plenty of books on my bookshelf that could work for this as well. So this one should be very easy. And then we have this prompt that we always have, and this one is included every year. And that's your favorite prompt from past Popsugar Reading Challenge. And because there's been so many different kinds of challenge, I could basically read anything for this prompt. So this is not very, very difficult. Okay, and then we have the advanced ones, and I usually do those as well, unless they are too difficult, so I'm going to look through those as well. So the first one is the longest book by pages on your TBR list. Okay, I mean, if I decide to do this, at least it will force me to read some books that I've been putting off for a while, because I tend to avoid the longest books. And I think the longest book on my shelf are, I think it's either Crime and Punishment or Anna Karenina. So I guess either way I'll be reading a Russian classic this year or in 2021. So yeah. And then we have the shortest book by pages on your TBR list. And I mean, yeah, I mean, that's not difficult. If I include my ebook TBR as well, I have some pretty short books on there. I think I have books that are less than 50 pages, if you include that. If I don't include that, I think my shortest book is probably around 100 pages. I mean, so either way, this should not be very difficult. The book on your TBR list with the prettiest cover. Okay, that's very subjective. And then the next one is the book on your TBR list with the ugliest cover. And I very rarely tend to think that covers are ugly. So, I mean, I feel like that one is more difficult for me than the prettiest cover. And again, I feel like maybe if I include my ebook TBR, which I probably will, then I feel like some of the romances I have there they don't have the prettiest covers, maybe, so I will maybe read a romance for that one. But prettiest covers, I think most covers are pretty, so I will just, I guess, pick one of the covers that are my favorites. One of the covers that are my favorite for this, so shouldn't be too difficult. The book that's been on your TBR list for the longest amount of time. Okay, so I mean, the Popsugar challenge this year is really forcing me to read some books that I've been putting off. But I mean, that's not a bad thing. I should read those books. So I just have to figure out which book has been on my list the longest, and I have a spreadsheet for that, so I know which book that is. I just can't remember right now. So again, it's about time. So a book from your TBR list you meant to read last year but didn't. Okay, this again could be probably half my TBR, so not very hard. A book from your TBR list you associate with a favorite person, place, or thing. Okay. I mean, I guess there are several ways to interpret this. It could be maybe a gift from one of my favorite people, or a book that I bought, a place that I love, for instance. I mean, this it's not very hard, I think, if you only think of different ways that you could fulfill this prompt. And then we have a book from your TBR list chosen at random. Okay, I mean this is super easy. There's probably several ways that I could do that. I mean, I do have for my bookish bingo, I do have the prompt, the TBR jar prompt. So I guess if that comes up, I could maybe use the book that I pick for that, for this prompt. So I like it. A DNF book from your TBR list. I mean, okay, this is probably maybe going to be my hardest prompt, because I don't DNF books. And if I do DNF book, which happens very rarely, I don't intend to pick them back up. So, I mean, what do I do for this one? So in 2020, I think I've DNF'd one book, and I DNF'd that within the first 50 pages, because I did not like the writing style, and I could just tell that it was not the kind of story that I would enjoy. So I mean, I have no intentions of picking that back up. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to think about this one, because I don't know what to do for it. So, and then the final one is a free book from your TBR list, gifted, borrowed, or library. This one again is very easy, and I actually have the exact same prompt for my bookish bingo. But I have plenty of books that are, especially on my Kindle, that I got for free. And also, I mean, any library book basically would work for this. So I mean, yeah, that like almost all the prompts, unless I have like accidentally skipped any. I hope not. Let's just scroll quickly back up and see if there are anyone that I feel like I have skipped. I don't think so. I think I've gone through all of them. And I mean, like, first impression is that I feel like most of the prompts are pretty like doable. I could find probably for most of these prompts, I could find books that are already on my TBR, either physical ebook TBR or a book that I can find as an audiobook that I'm interested in reading. There are some here that are more challenging, and then I maybe have to like go out of my comfort zone a little bit, or read books that I would necessarily have picked up otherwise. But I mean, I don't mind that as long as there are only a few prompts like that. And like I said, the most difficult prompt for me would actually be the DNF prompts, because I just don't DNF books very often. And when I do, it's just books that I just know. So, I mean, that one I will definitely have to think about. But apart from that, I feel like this will be a lot of fun, like just figuring out which books from my TBR will fit into these prompts. And I'm looking forward to like sitting down and just like looking at my TBR and like fitting the books into the different prompts, and maybe go to the Goodreads group and see what other people are planning to read, because I always get some good inspiration there. I mean, yeah, so first impression is positive. I'm excited to get started. And I think this challenge, once again, will be a lot of fun. So that was the prompts. It's been a couple of days since I filmed this footage, and I've had a chance to look at the prompts a little bit further. And some of the prompts that I initially thought were going to be quite easy looks like they might be a little bit more difficult than I first realized. And then there are also prompts that I thought would be quite difficult that might be a little bit easier. But there's a good mix of prompts still, and I really like that. I've also started to like look at my TBR and see which books that I have that will fit into some of the prompts. So I've started planning a little bit, but I usually try not to plan too much, because there will always be books that I read throughout the year that will fit into some of the prompts even without me planning it. And also there are books that I don't know about now that will be published in 2021, or that I am discovering in 2021 that I will want to read, and that may fit into the prompts also. So I usually try to plan a little bit so that I can get a good start on the reading challenge in January, but I don't like to plan too much. And I think I might have found a solution to the DNF prompt as well. I'm probably going to get back to that in a future video when I actually read a book that fulfills that prompt. But I think I know how I might solve that prompt. And as you saw, that was the prompt that I, at least initially, was the most concerned about. So that is good. So I think that is going to be it for today. Let me know if you're planning on doing this challenge as well. Maybe we can like brainstorm books or something. I don't know. So yeah, it would be fun if other people were doing this as well. So I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon for another video. Bye!